نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Respected viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This Quranic program about Quranic learning and understanding Quranic verses is being presented by Adult Quranic Education Program Srinagar. We shall try to learn few more verses today from chapter number 4, that's chapter Al-Nisa, Surah Al-Nisa, starting from verse number 128. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. وَإِنِ امْرَأَةٌ خَافَتْ مِنْ بَعْلِهَا نُشُوزًا. If a woman fears cruelty and desertion from her husband, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا. So then in that case there is no blame upon them. أَنْ يُصْلِحَا بَيْنَهُمَا صُلْحٌ. If they arrange an amicable settlement between themselves, وَصُلُحُ خَيْرٌ, and that settlement is good. وَأُهْدِرَتِ الْأَنفُسُ الشُّحَّ. Because human nature makes a person stingy or miserly. وَإِن تُحْسِنُوا وَتَتَّقُوا. If you do good and fear Allah, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرًا. They know it, that Allah has knowledge of whatever you do. وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَن تَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ. And you will never be able to deal equitably with your wives. وَلَوْ حَرَصْتُمْ. Even if you may desire it and you may strive for it. فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ. But don't show total inclination towards one wife. فَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. And you leave another wife hanging. وَإِن تُصْلِحُوا وَتَتَّقُوا. If you show some settlement and good amicable relations, وَتَتَّقُوا, and fear Allah, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. They know it, Allah is all forgiving, the most merciful. وَإِن يَتَفَرَّقَا. If they go for separation, that is husband and wife, يُغْنِ اللَّهُ كُلًّا مِنْ سَعَتِهِ. Allah shall enrich them by His own abundance. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ وَاسِعًا حَكِيمًا. And Allah has all the abundance with them, and He is all wise. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. To Allah belongs what is in heavens and earth. وَلَقَدْ وَصَّيْنَا الَّذِينَ. And of course, we had instructed the people of the book, min qablikum, before you, وَإِيَّاكُمْ, and O believers, you too, أَنِ اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ, that you should fear only Allah. وَإِن تَكْفُرُوا. If you reject Allah, if you deny Him, فَإِنَّ لِلَّهِ, then remember, to Allah still belongs, مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ, what is in the heavens and what is in the earth. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَنِيًّا, and Allah is free of any need. Hamida, and He's still praiseworthy. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ, and to Allah belongs what is in the heavens and earth. وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ وَكِيلًا, and Allah is sufficient as a disposer of all the affairs. Sadaqallahul Azim. Coming back to today's verses, it's verse number 128. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَإِنِ امْرَأَةٌ. And if a woman, خَافَتْ مِنْ بَعْلِهَا, fears from his husband, nushuzan or irada, whether cruelty or desertion, or whether contempt or evasion, if she fears from her husband, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا, there is no blame upon them. أَنْ يُصْلِحَا بَيْنَهُمَا صُلْحٌ. If they arrive on an amicable solution, if they arrive on a amicable solution, settlement between themselves, and practice self-restraint. وَالصُّلْحُ خَيْرٌ, and that settlement is better. وَأُهْدِرَتِ الْأَنفُسُ الشُّحَّ. Because human nature is inclined towards stinginess or makes a person miser, to be miserly. So this is about if a woman is married to a person, they are living husband-wife relationships, but she feels that her husband is not giving him proper attention, proper care, love, and that's in itself a cruelty for a woman, because she deserves it, and she desires it also. She needs it. That's in her nature. If due to one reason or the other, husband doesn't like her, or there's some difference of opinion. Still see how Quran doesn't in the first instance ask males that yes, you can divorce you, throw them away, show them the exit. There's a solution. Quran will lay all the foundations, because according to Quran, basic unit of life is a home. Home means husband, wife, and children. That's the basic, as we have cells in our body, cells. Around 50,000 billion cells of human being is composed. Every cell is basic unit of life, and that is how we are humans. All cells working together in coordination, perfection, as tissues and then organs and systems, and coordination between different organs, the system that makes a human body work perfectly. Same is true about this humanity. There are around this time we see 8.5 billion people in the world, different continents, 7 continents, around 200 countries. Then within every country there are states and provinces, and within provinces there are localities, and localities we have local congregations of mahallas and all that, and it's percolated down to each mahalla comprising many houses or homes, and that home or house is the basic unit, which I have already explained to you. Few homes together make a mahalla, and then few mahallas or localities together make a province, and few provinces make a state, and then few states together make a country, and then few countries together make a continent, and 7 or more continents make this whole world. So it starts from, so Islam wants to make this basically strong, as every cell in a human being has to be strong, good, in perfect shape and perfectly working. If there's abnormal growth in a cell and is not controlled properly, that's what we call malignancy, or what we call that cancer and all these diseases. Islam strengthens this basic structure of life as families. It will not allow in normal circumstances separation or disintegration of family unless it becomes an unavoidable necessity. If a house, instead of being center of love, affection, nucleus of love and affection, if it turns to be a source of violence, what we call now today domestic violence, and it creates havoc in a society between two families, tug of war, and it becomes a cancerous spot. Only in such circumstances, when all efforts of reconciliation fail, as prescribed in this chapter itself. Just some time back we learned, I explained in the light of Quran, all this, how Quran, but if there's no option left at the end, then Quran allows separation, and that too with honor and respect, by method, perfect method, how to divorce and how to pass through 3 months, 4 months, how to do that. Here also, Quran says, وَإِنِ امْرَأَةٌ خَافَتْ مِنْ بَعْلِهَا نُشُوزًا أَوْ إِرَادًا. If a woman fears cruelty and desertion, or something like contempt or evasion from her husband, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا, there is no blame upon them, إِنْ يُصْلِحَا بَيْنَهُمَا صُلْحًا, if they arrive or arrange for an amicable settlement between themselves. That means that should not form the cause of separation, divorce, disintegration of families is to be avoided. What it means in Quranic terminology, it means even if a woman has to surrender some of her rights, whether some marital rights or some financial rights, if she has her by which husband, to which husband also agrees, just to maintain the integrity of family, which Islam would not, Quran would not allow the disintegration. This is a step towards integration rather than disintegration. Quran says that's better. Wasulhu khair. And that's amicable settlement between husband and wife is better. In that such settlement, even if woman has to, even if she has to surrender some of her rights, as though marital or financial or any kind of rights, but that's better. Still, this does not lead, these minor differences, like the dislikings for each other, should not result in the disintegration of husband-wife relationship. But human nature is inclined always to stinginess or miserliness, but that means some people would not like to surrender, or they will try to exploit this situation. Because that's not good. That is not good. That should not be done. It should be done with open heart, with the mutual agreement of both the parties, with husband and wife. That's why Quran says again, وَإِن تُحْسِنُوا, if you do good, that means the settlement is to be done in a goodly manner, tuhsinu, goodly manner, mutually agreed upon, in a cordial atmosphere. And if you fear God, Allah also, one who fears God will not deviate from that goodness or flexibility or mutual adjustment or amicable solutions. That's why Quran, if you do good to each other, and simultaneously fear also Allah, and make mutual arrangements to maintain the integrity of the family, then remember, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرًا. Then know it. Surely Allah knows well what you do. He's well aware of what you do. You cannot cheat. You can cheat your wife. Wife can cheat her husband. You can cheat people around by your verbal, by sweet words, or by your argumentation. But you cannot cheat God. He knows everything. Then another verse number 139. وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَن تَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ. And it is not normally. You will never be able to deal equitably with your wives. That means if a person has more than 2 wives, which Islam allows, doesn't enjoin, and this chapter itself, I hope you remember, Islam is generally blamed due to ignorance, due to unawareness that Islam is a religion which prescribes polygamy on men. There can be no false statement than this. Distortion of facts like this. Islam doesn't enjoin polygamy. It only allows in special, extraordinary situations. That's what we see with Quran, in this chapter, Al-Nisa, which stands explained here in this class. As I've been telling you time and again, once this class is done, you should also read Quran with the help of translations available with you, so that you assimilate maximum of the Quran. And let us get benefited from the works of our great commentators who have put all the efforts to make Quran easy for us to understand. So things will be clear, as is Quran says, verse number 3, Al-Nisa. وَإِن كِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تُقْسِطُوا فِي الْيَتَامَى. If you fear that you cannot act or you cannot work equitably, or you cannot do justice. You cannot do justice with orphans, that's orphan girls. Fankihu, then marry. Mata balakum nisa, among the women whom you like. Masna was sulasa, whether 2, 3, or 4. So Islam doesn't prescribe it, enjoin it. It allows incest. In fact, polygamy was prevalent throughout the world, as I gave you examples from Christian and Jewish history. From Hinduism, and Raja Dasharatha and Ramchandra, these are Christians. Yes, it was prevalent in the world. There's nothing to feel shy or it's not blame game. Islam didn't prescribe it, it limited it. Don't cross 4. And that too, fine, khiftum Allah ta'adilu. But if you fear, if you find that you cannot do justice with them, with your wives, فَوَاحِدًا, then only you should marry only one. وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَن تَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ. And it's not for you cannot, never can you work equitably with your wives. وَلَوْ حَرَصْتُمْ, even if you desire or even if you strive for it. فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ, but don't incline totally towards one wife. فَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ, while you leave another hanging. This see the Quranic norms of polygamy. That it should be justice is to be done. Don't incline. First the Quran says you cannot go for equitable treatment of your wives. وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَن تَمِيلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتُمْ, even if you desire, you wish, you strive for it. But فَلَا تَمِيلُوا, yes, it is human nature, you cannot be 100% equitable. But still, there can be minor adjustments. But فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ, don't show total inclination towards one wife. فَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ, and you leave another hanging, and you don't care, you don't talk to her, you don't give her love and affection, and you are only inclined towards another wife. That's unbecoming of a believer. You should never do it. You should never do it. That's what Prophet, peace be upon him, said, that on the day of judgment, a person who has 2 wives, if he doesn't treat both of them well, he shows inclination towards only one and leaves another hanging, doesn't care her, give her due care what she deserves as wife, love, affection, care, and all that. On the day of judgment, he'll stand before the court of God, cut into 2 pieces. Only one piece will be there. He'll be just human being vertically cut into 2 pieces. And people around will cry, and he too will say, "Oh Allah, oh my Creator, what has happened to me? Where am I?" He'll be told, "Yes, you had 2 wives, but you didn't care for her." Now this is the result of that. The way your body is now, in bodily it will happen, and then you can imagine the punishment accordingly. He'll be asked, "Why did he ill-treat?" He'll stand before the court of God, vertically cut into 2 pieces. This also speaks one more thing. That means woman is part of man. If he has 2 wives, that is half. One wife is half, another wife is half. Man and women belong to each other. If he shows inclination towards one wife, it is only half of him. He has ignored another wife, that is another half is cut from his body. So this, as Quran says in chapter Al-Baqarah itself, "Hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahun." Women are like a garment for you, and you are like a garment for them. So there's interdependence, complementation. You belong to each other. Quran says, "Dhakar wa unsa ba'dukum bi ba'd." You belong to each other. You are same. As in the first instance, Quran explains this first verse of this chapter, Al-Nisa. Ya ayyuhan nasu taqu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum min nafsin wahida wa khalaqa minha zawjaha. The people fear Allah, who created it from a single soul, and from that soul he created his spouse. That is woman, the part of man. It's not any separate entity. This how. وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَن تَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ, and you will never be able to deal equitably with your wives. But still you have to take care. وَلَوْ حَرَصْتُمْ, even if you desire, even if you strive for that, فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ, then don't show total inclination towards one, فَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ, and leave another hanging between heaven and earth, neither leaving her nor taking her in marriage, nor giving her loud affection, nor leaving her so that she may seek a better future for herself. You leave her hanging, and you will be taken care of. Oh man, even if you are a believer, you will be taken care of. You will be cut into two pieces. You will face the wrath and anger of Allah on the day of judgment. He will take your task on behalf of that woman whom you didn't love and care. وَإِن تُصْلِحُوا وَتَتَّقُوا, if you act amicably with each other in a goodly manner, وَتَتَّقُوا, and fear Allah, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا, then surely Allah is all forgiving, the most merciful. Then وَإِن يَتَفَرَّقَا, but if they separate, that means if all as explained in this chapter, I do not repeat all this. Now you know how there's a process. How could I say that it was, if there's differences of opinion, there should be mutual admonitions, then separation of beds. If that doesn't work, then even we can use hands just to protect the integrity of family. But if it doesn't work, then we have to choose one wise man from women's side and one wise man from men's side, and let them work for reconciliation between the two, and Allah will guide them and help them. But if all these efforts fail, that means there's nothing left, no reconciliation possible, then it becomes inevitable. Then separation is the only law and only option. And Islam allows it, talaq. That's why Quran says talaq, yes, it is allowed in Islam. But it should be done in an affectionate, lovely, goodly manner, with all the norms of faith set by Quran. وَإِن يَتَفَرَّقَا, if they separate, they decide to separate, finally, يُغْنِ اللَّهُ كُلًّا مِنْ سَعَتِهِ, Allah shall surely enrich them by His abundance. Let women not feel bad that there was no way left for her to remain in wedlock, which was not good for her, or same to man. If they separate, there will be way out for them. That's why widow marriage is not allowed but encouraged in Islam. Yes, women should go for second marriage. They have every right to have life of honor and respect, living with husbands and having children, and groom the children, create a family of their own, and live a normal, perfect life. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ وَاسِعًا حَكِيمًا, because Allah is all wise, and out of wisdom He has laid down these laws for you. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ, and remember always, to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and what is in earth. He is the creator, He is Lord, He is manager. To Him belongs everything. He is the creator, rest are creations. So one has to bow only before creator, not creation. وَلَقَدْ وَصَّيْنَا الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, and we had certainly instructed people of the book before you. They were also given laws through their prophets, through Jesus and Moses, peace be upon them, and other prophets who followed Moses. And the divine revelations they received, it was through them. وَلَقَدْ وَصَّيْنَا الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ, and certainly we had instructed people of the book min qablikum, before you, giving them proper instructions, goodly admonitions, explaining everything for goodly life in this world. وَإِيَّاكُمْ, and so have we done the same to you, O believers. To you we are also sending now these instructions, these commands, these admonitions, أَنِ اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ, what? To fear Allah only. وَإِن تَكْفُرُوا, and they were warned, and you too are warned now, that وَإِن تَكْفُرُوا, if you deny, if you reject, if you refuse to believe, that we refuse to believe in one God, and refuse to believe in divine instruction and revelation to be the only source of guidance for humans, and if you adopt any path other than that, other than submitting or surrendering before Allah the Almighty, if you adopt any path other than that, then remember, فَإِنَّ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ, still, but everything, whatever is in earth or this heaven, that belongs to Allah, whether you believe in him or not. Still everything belongs to him. He is still Creator, Lord, the Master. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَنِيًّا حَمِيدًا. And if you, whether you believe him or not, you reject him, you refuse to follow his instructions and revelations as a guiding force, forget about it. Allah doesn't need you. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَنِيًّا. Allah is free of any need. You need him. He doesn't need you, humans. Hamida, and he's still praiseworthy. Whether you may praise him or not, you may praise others, other false deities or false gods. You may create gods of your own imaginations. That's your problem. That is not going to lower the status of God. That's what Quran says, and just put it in my own language. Even if all the people of the world, at present about 8.5 billion people of the world, if all in a single voice believe in God, yes, we declare Allah is our Creator Lord. Yes, that's good for whole humanity, but that's not going to increase status. That's not going to make a 4-star general God as 5-star general. That he'll be happy and then his status will be raised. He's free of any need. And simultaneously, the Quran says, if all the people of the world reject Allah as their Lord, that's not going to lower his status. He's still Lord, he's still God. He's still Creator, he's still the Master. Because Ghaniya means that. He's free of any need and any want. Hamida, and he's still praiseworthy. As Quran says, time and again, Yusabbihu lillahi ma fi samawati ma fil ard. Allah's praise are glorified by whoever is in the heaven and earth, whether living or non-living, whether planets and stars, creation and otherwise, whatever it is. Then, Quran, it is repeated again, Walillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard, and to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens, wa ma fil ard, what is in earth. Wa kafa billahi wakila, and Allah is sufficient. Allah is sufficient as the disposer of all the affairs. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم والحمد لله رب العالمين.